Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel once again. Cannot believe it's already time to be wearing a sweatshirt up here in Michigan. Makes me sick to my stomach, but we got the Bengals socks on, matching the two-stroke. We're ready to have Joe Burrow break our hearts once again. That definitely means it's off-season, and you guys know every off-season I like to ride as many bikes as I can get my hands on, bumming rides off of friends, and sometimes complete strangers. And this off-season is gonna be no exception because I need to figure out what bike it is that I want to race next year. Big debate I'm facing is whether or not I want to upgrade to the 2025 Austrian chassis, or maybe just try out a different color completely. For a little bit of context, you guys may remember that last year I raced this bike right here, 2023 KTM 450 SXF. Now this was the first year of the new generation KTM 450. Ignore the mess on the counter, please, but some pretty widespread controversy on this bike. Not a whole lot of people were a fan of this chassis. A lot of the top privateers either opted to go with different brands, or in my case, I decided to go back to the previous chassis. Found myself a 2023 gas that I raced all this year. Absolutely love that bike. Obviously they're getting harder and harder to find though in good condition. I could find like a low hour vet ridden 2023 gas 450, but I mean, even mine's getting a little bit tired after a full season of pro motocross. So, and it's kind of inevitable. I'm gonna have to get a new generation chassis eventually. The KTM group were aware that there were some issues with this bike. And so for 2024 and a half and 2025, they made some pretty serious updates to this thing. Mainly with the frame, hopefully you guys can see it, but this shock tower mount is one ginormous piece of steel from here down to here. On the new frame, this is all cut out to allow some more flex. And then for the linkage, they went with a smaller diameter linkage bolt to try and help it flex more. They also just changed like the structural rigidity of kind of the front end of the chassis as well. Stock engine mounts now come with a big cutout right here, as opposed to this solid one that came on the 2023. So lots of updates to like soften the frame up because stiffness was the main thing that people were complaining about on this bike. And so far, according to test riders, Chase Sexton's Outdoor Championship, and just what the local riders are saying, supposedly the 2025 was a massive upgrade from the 2023, which is great news because it really needed it. But I've never ridden one and I need some convincing. So my friend Brock Peterson just picked up a brand new 2025 KTM 450. It is completely bone stock. He is gonna meet me out at Delta Raceway today and he's gonna let me spin a lap on that thing and see if the improvements were good enough that it's gonna make me wanna go buy one and race one next summer. So I've got my 23 gas, the previous frame already loaded up in the van. I love that thing. I'm gonna ride them back to back. And if it's anywhere even close to being as good as that in stock form, because obviously my gas has my Pro National setup that I've been racing all summer. So if the stock 25 KTM is even close to the gas, that's gonna be good enough for me. And if that's the case, you guys may see me picking up a 25 KTM soon. But you guys know I'm also gonna ride the new Honda and Yamaha and Cowie before we make that decision, and just make sure that I'm making the absolute best choice. But in this video, it's all about seeing if the new KTM is good. So what do you say we head to the track and go and try this thing out? Yours is set at 105 for you?
Yeah.
What do you weigh?
160. It'll be still sacked out. It'll be still plus here for you.
It'll be fine. I'll be able to tell.
Is there a lot of different feel in the two of you think?
I feel like I'd probably like that one better, I'm gonna be honest.
You ride, oh, you're on it now.
It's got these big old ape hangers on this thing. I may hop on that eventually if you don't mind.
Yeah, I gotta tighten the chain after this one and then you can take her. She's all stock, nothing.
That's what we like. setup is so different from mine, it's hard for me to tell.
Wow, this is really hard.
Yeah, your bars are so tall and far forward.
What clutch do you have now?
Clutch?
Yeah.
Recluse.
Short drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah.
I don't know how Brock rides that thing like that. That whole cockpit situation was way too messed up. So Blaine has a much more similar setup to mine. He's got the new gas 450, so I think I'm gonna hop on that now. I think I'm gonna take that beauty for a spin. Blaine's bike's good. Really good. And who knows, yours might have felt good if I had the right bars.
It doesn't.
It doesn't feel good?
Super busy in the back end.
You should take his out quick and vet.
I'm tired.
All right, guys, we just wrapped up here at Delta Raceway, and I'm not gonna lie, I had my fears that I was gonna hop on the new chassis and it was gonna feel no different from my 2023. And that was gonna leave me scrambling to try and figure out what bike I wanted to get for next year. And the fears were confirmed a little bit when I got on Brock's bike. Super uncomfortable on that thing, just couldn't get any sort of speed going, and I was just, yeah, so uncomfortable. And so I only did like a lap and a half, got off of that thing and got back on mine. And when I got back to the pit area, I told my dad, I was like, there is no way I could buy one of these and race it. And I was thinking to myself, it was just because of Brock's kind of, I'm not gonna call it a weird bar setup, it's just way different from my bar setup. He had really tall bars, rolled really far forward, and a ton of play in the throttle, which I hate that. I couldn't even get a feel for the suspension or how the chassis felt or anything because I was just so weirded out by the bar setup. Luckily, Blaine came through. He had a 2024.5 gas 450, which is the same exact frame. However, it did have the KTM Power Parts triple clamp and engine mounts. Not sure how big of a difference those make, but the biggest difference is that he runs a bar that was pretty similar to my handlebar. He had it rolled back pretty much exactly where I would have had it, and he let me adjust the slack out of the throttle. So still stock suspension components. He had the air fork and the stock shock. I think it was set up for him because it was a little bit soft, but I still got a pretty good feel of the chassis, and man, pretty blown away. I'm not gonna lie. I jumped on it and felt comfortable immediately. You guys can probably tell in the video that I was able to just get on the throttle and start hammering out laps, and I would not be surprised if the lap times were very similar to my gas or maybe even slightly faster, just because his suspension was a bit softer and that track requires kind of a soft setup, like harder pack with really small choppy bumps, which those are the scenarios where I hated my 23 KTM. Specifically at this track, I struggled every single time I brought my 23 KTM here. I probably tried 15 different suspension settings on that thing, and never once was I comfortable on it at this track. So to hop right on Blaine's new generation chassis and, you know, be able to crank out laps like that, super confidence inspiring, and I feel pretty confident in purchasing one of those and being able to get it set up as good as I have my gas set up right now. So extremely positive day. I'm pretty happy knowing that that's a viable route that I could go now, and being that the KTM bikes have been so good for me in the past, like sort of leaning that direction, but also hard to ignore how good those new Hondas look under the Lawrence brothers. And then with ET coming on hot at the SMX rounds on his Yamaha, I mean, I think you can't make a bad choice. So definitely want to ride those, kind of see how those feel. Even the new Cowie looks really good. Hopefully I can find someone local that I can steal those rides from them, and of course I'll record all of it for you guys to kind of hear my thoughts. So, but yeah, rad day. Thank you to Brock and Blaine for letting me steal a ride on your steeds. Helps me out massively, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. With all that being said, we will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.